Alright, so I guess it's working. So I'm going to be doing some typography in After Effects, and I'm just going to use my name since that'll be useful to me, and I'm going to try to do 5 different effects, one for each letter. So I'm not going to go in order, but today I think I'm going to do the A and the G, but you could always do any letter you wanted. So I just did this in Illustrator, and I'm using a font that I downloaded for free. It's called Bico, and some of the letters I just like adjusted because I didn't like how they were. So I just I did Command Shift and O, and then it converts your letters into shapes that you can alter. So that's what I did for the E and the G. Yeah, so then I'm going to make this into layers so that you can see each layer separately and animated in After Effects. So my layers window is over here. I'm going to go over to this little button and hit release to sequence, and then I have each letter in its own layer. I'm going to drag it out, and then that layer was empty, so just delete that. You can name these to make it easier. Alright, and then I think that's it for here. I'll just save this, go into After Effects, and I'm going to go File, Import, File, and then just change it to Composition Retain Layer Sizes. I save this here. Oops. Alright, so if I double click on this, it'll open, but everything is black because my letters are blending into the background, so I'm going to change my background color. So, alright. So then this handy little feature, you can right click on your layer from After Effects and then go create shapes from vector layer. So I'm going to be using that, but I'm going to not start on the M. So, and actually I don't need to do that. I'm going to start with the A. Okay, hopefully things are working. I'm going to start with the A, and I'm going to do this technique. Actually, maybe I can show it to you first. If I can find it. Alright, let me know if it's not working now. Hopefully it is, because I don't really know what I'm doing. Okay, so this is the effect I'm going to do for the A. So hopefully the A will look like that A. Alright. So what I'm going to do is draw some paths for those letters. And oops. I just want to see which way I drew them in this one. Okay, so alright. So I'm going to draw a line from the top of the screen down to this A. And it's going to be about like that. And then if you're off, you can always fix it. Alright, so... Oh, whoops. I drew that as a mask, which is not what I wanted. So... get rid of that. So make sure nothing is selected and then draw the line. Would be useful. Alright, so that was really off, and then you can just adjust. Okay, and I haven't picked out colors, so we're just gonna pick something random and probably go back and change it. So we'll go with this blue, and I'm gonna make the stroke bigger. And then to go back and change the path, it's under content, shape, and then path. And then if you click on the first path, like the top one, then you can actually edit the path. It's a little bit weird, but if you click on the second one, then it doesn't actually edit the actual path. So I'm just going to make sure that that's lined up with the A. And then I'm going to draw another path. So this one is going to go from the bottom. Wait, how did I? Maybe not. I don't remember how I did that. I'm gonna make sure, because I like the way this looks. Okay, yeah, so from the bottom corner, so I'm gonna do that again. And I'm actually gonna go a little bit past the A, because sometimes that works so well. So we'll see. Oops, not what I was trying to do. Okay. And then I'm gonna adjust this path so it lines up with the A. For some reason I have two shapes. Okay. Oops. Alright, that looks fine. And then the last part, I'm just going to go sliding across horizontally. So I'll draw another path. And actually, if I held down shift, it would make sure it's straight, which would be helpful. So okay, and then to animate these, I'm going to use trim paths. So I'll start with the top line, and I'm going to go here, and then next to add, click the little circle with the triangle and do trim paths, and then expand that out, and then so if I adjust the end point, it'll do what I want. So I'm going to start with the key point, or yeah, so I'll start like with the end at 0%, and then I don't want this to be too long, so I probably should have made my project shorter, but anyways, let's say this takes like not quite a second to come in, so I'm going to bring that up to 100, so then that just animates in like that, so pretty easy effect. And then something that I use a lot is these motion scripts. The website to download them is called Mount MoGraph, and they have a bunch of super helpful tutorials and stuff. So yeah, I think I paid like 20 or 25 bucks for this, but it's totally worth it. And everything else on their website is free, so if you like justify it, it makes a lot of sense just to pay them 25 bucks. So anyways, alright, yeah. So what I did here is if you go into the graph editor, which is right here, and then I just made it so it's more of an interesting motion than just making it like a linear motion. So that's that. And that little script makes it really easy to do. Like, it's basically the same as doing like right clicking and going velocity assistant easy, and that makes your graph have like a nice curve to it, but this just gives you more control, so you can make like a steeper or less steep curve using those. And there's also a bunch of other features, like you can make things like pop in and stuff using like jump or excite. You can also name multiple layers at once, like if you have something really complicated and everything's named like layer 1 and you want to like say these are all of like something, you can name them. So those are the ones that I use a lot. Okay, so then about halfway through this one coming in, I'm going to start animating the other path. So that's shape layer 2. I should probably name these. And to name, you just select it, hit enter, and then type. And that took me a while. I didn't know that for a while, so very helpful. Okay, so then I'm gonna go and add trim paths to this. And then I'll start here, go till about 1 second. And actually that's where I want my end to be 100%. And then this is going to be 0%. I'm going to give that the same motion as the other one. So basically it like starts out slow and then fast and then slow. And then my third line, I'm going to do the same. And if you select your layers and press U, it'll show you just the properties that have keyframes on them, which is really helpful. So add trim paths. And this one shouldn't take up as much time because it doesn't have as far to go. So all right. That looks fine enough for now. So now, let's see what I should do next. So eventually these lines are going to animate out too, but I'll just do that later. So now I'm going to work on the inside of the egg because it's not just going to be this boring black. So I'm going to draw, well actually this might be easier. So I can go select my A layer from Illustrator, the Illustrator layer, then go create shapes from vector layer by right clicking. Oops, it doesn't like that. And I don't know why. Anyways, I'm going to try to duplicate it. Well, here's a workaround. So I could just make an A in here and then make it same size. I think I used bold. Should make that a different color so it's easier to tell. Okay, that's close enough. And then what you can do is right click on the text layer, maybe, and then create shapes from text. So. And then I'm going to duplicate this. And under contents, it shows you all the different like pieces of your shape. So I'm gonna start messing with the shape so that I get what I want. Let me look back at this. So, okay. Okay, so I'm going to change this a little bit. I'm going to move up this line to here, like to the middle of the little cross in the A. And then we're going to push it to there. And then with this A shape, I'm gonna like delete parts of this A so that I get the shape so I can make different colors. So I'm gonna add a anchor point right here and right here. And then I'm gonna go and get my delete vertex tool, delete the anchor points up here. So now, and if I delete that inner part of the A, now this shape, if I just click this little button that is showing only this layer now, then I just have this little bottom piece, which is what I wanted. So, and I'll pick a better color for that. Although I should have probably picked out my colors earlier so I don't get something really hideous, which is what's gonna happen. So, that'll be that color, and then the top part, I'm going to delete this A outlines again, which is the shape layer. And then I'm going to do kind of the same thing, but for the top of the A. So I'm going to add anchor points here and here, and then delete the bottom section. Okay, so now this will just be the top of the A, and I'm going to name these. So this will be top. And I'm going to choose a different color for this. Maybe, these colors are really horrible. I'm going to go back in and change them. Oh, okay, sorry, my chat wasn't, I'm looking at my chat on a different computer and it was taking forever to load. So yeah, I am learning this in school, kind of. I'm kind of self-teaching it to myself because we're in a really general tech program, but that's kind of the fun of it. We have a lot of different perspectives. So yeah, most of the stuff I've taught myself on After Effects has just been through tutorials online for free, and I did independent study to kind of like push me along to do that. So yeah, feel free to ask me any questions. I think my chat is working now, like if you have specific questions or anything. And I'm new to Twitch, so be nice because I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so that looks alright for now. So what I'm going to do, oh, I got distracted and finished naming. So this is the bottom of my A. I want to name that. And what is this? Alright, that's just like an extra like backup if I mess something up. So I could like shy it and hide it, but whatever, it's fine. So while my paths are animating on, like the lines are drawing on, I want the colors that fill in the A to animate in. So we'll start about here-ish, there, and we'll animate in the top of the A. So I'm gonna use, I think, a linear wipe. So if you go over to your effects and presets, if this isn't showing up, you can go to window, I think, and I don't find it. And then I'm gonna just type in linear wipe, and it's this one at the bottom. I'm gonna drag it onto my layer, and then the effects will usually come up over here. And you can choose your start angle and your transition completeness. So that's what I'm going to be animating here. Maybe? Okay, yeah. So see how it's like when I drag this across, that's the transition completion. And so 0% is all the way covered, like it's all the way wiped on, and then 100% is all the way wiped off, which doesn't actually make sense to me, but that's how it is. So remember, green is the shape that I'm animating on. So I want my angle to be like the same angle as the side of the A, the left side of the A. So that looks about right. So I'll just leave my wipe angle. I don't need a keyframe because I'm not going to animate that. So I'm going to start with this at 0. Oh, I think I wanted this over here. So then I'll set a keyframe. You can do it up here or down here. And then I'm going to show that keyframe down in my layers because that makes it easier for me. And then I'm going to go probably about till here and then animate my transition on, and I did that backwards. So go back and put this at 100. So that's all the way off. So now that looks alright, but I want to fix this angle. Okay, and then I'm going to add that motion to my keyframes. Okay, that's going kind of fast, it seems like. Yeah, there's only like 3 frames in between there. I'm going to change that. And also I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to hide this because it's in my way. I'm also going to hide these 2 A's that were black in the background. Okay, so I'm going to drag that over. Okay, that's better. Alright, I'm going to go back. Oh, I think my QuickTime was covering up half my screen. Sorry about that. So let me just check out what I did for the bottom, because, okay, that makes sense. So I just animated across from right to left. I'm going to do that again. Okay, now you should be able to see my whole screen. Sorry about that. Okay, so when this path, the blue line, gets to about the tip of the A, like it's just touching the A, then I'm going to start keyframes for the bottom, which is this. So also, if you don't have any of your layers selected and you hit U, then it will hide all your keyframes, which is really nice because sometimes I create a mess and then that kind of cleans it up. So I'm going to add a linear wipe to that, so just drag that on to the bottom of the A section, and then let's see. So that's going to be how I want it already. So I'll drag that up to 100, set a keyframe, click U on my keyboard to see the keyframe of my layers, and then about here, I'll say, I'm going to drag that to 0%. You could also drag it down here. So. Okay, that's, oh, I'm going to set this. Yeah, I agree that motion graphics isn't really taught that much. I haven't really heard of much that like motion graphics being taught in schools. We have one class at CU that teaches motion graphics, and it wasn't being offered when I wanted to take it, so I ended up doing an independent study. But yeah, so I guess you can't really count that as taking a class in it because I ended up teaching myself. But I do know my brother's school has a program in, I think it's called Animation and Motion Graphics, which sounds really cool, and I tried to convince him to do it, but I don't think he's going to. But that's what I would have done if I would have went to his school. Okay, so I guess this looks alright for now. And then to play it in real time, I'm gonna click N on my keyboard where my, I guess, time marker is, and that'll set my work area. So this is the work area, like this little gray bar. And then I'm gonna hit RAM preview, which will play it in real time. Okay, that's not the best, it's kind of choppy. Wait, maybe? Okay. I'm gonna make this shorter because I don't want the animation to be, I'll go 20 seconds. I had it at whatever my last animation was, which is like 1 minute and 30 seconds. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to start animating out of this. So I'm going to go back to those lines. And then I'm going to start with the first line I did, which is this one. And I'm going to animate the start position. So I'll put a keyframe there, and then about here, say I'm going to start animating the start position so that the line isn't as long, and so it's kind of like more motion. And then, see, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with the other letter, so because I didn't really plan this out yet. So I think I want all the letters to end up with just like a solid color, so it looks like this, so they all animate in, and then like their own different ways, and then they all end up like this, so that they're all the same at the end. But I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna do that, so we'll see. Alright, so I want that line to be a little bit shorter, so I'll bring that down. And let's say at like 1 second, this will just completely fit to the A, so that like nothing is sticking out. And that way I can like cover all my letters with like a solid color, so they all look uniform by the end. Well, hopefully that'll work. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same for the second one. So and then at 1 second I'll make it like this. So, and I'm also going to animate the end at 1 second, so it just fits the A. I'm a little bit off. But cool, I'm gonna check out those videos you guys are posting in the chat later. So I don't wanna like stop. But oops, that didn't make it better. At 1 second I will make it so that the start position makes it so that it's not sticking out from the A at all. Or like make it come in sooner. And then at 1 second I will make it so that the start position makes it so that it's not sticking out from the A at all. Okay, and then the nice thing about the motion script that I'm using is that you can just highlight all of your keyframes and convert them to the same like speed thing, whatever you call it. So yeah, that's starting to look a little bit better, I guess. Alright. Okay. So I could go back and like fiddle with some of this stuff so it looks even better, but I'm just gonna leave it for now. And then what I think I'm gonna do is take the top and bottom parts of the A and then duplicate those. So, and then I'm just gonna drag them up to the top so that they're gonna hide everything. And well, maybe I don't want to do that. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. Changing my mind. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave that how it is for now, and I'm gonna start working on the G. So okay, so I guess it would be easiest if I just made a new G, like this. And then, oh, that's right. Never mind. So the G I changed in Illustrator because I didn't like how like this little part of the G was like really high, and they had the same style with the E, and I just like didn't really like that. And that's just the way the font was. So, but it's not gonna let me do this. Oh, it is. Okay, well, that's nice of it. So this effect is gonna be a little different, and I'll show you what it looks like. How do I make the parts of my letters? Like how I have the top part of the A and the bottom part of the A. So what I did was, I think that's what you mean. Let me know if it's not. So I made the outlines. So I clicked on, well, I made this, I used the text tool and just made an A, and then I right-clicked that A and said create shapes from text. And then when I had those shapes, it looks like this outline. And so if you go into this, like if you toggle down and then you go to contents and then you go to the A, then there's two different paths to this A. So this one is like the outer shape, and then the other one is the inner shape. And then what I did is I used my pen tool and added some anchor points right here and right here. And then I deleted the anchor point so that I deleted the top one so that I just had this bottom piece. And then I did kind of like the same process again to get the other part of the A. So, alright, so for this G, I'm going to try to remember how I made this effect that I'm going for. Okay, let me just find the file where I can show you. Alright, so this is the effect that I'm going to use for the G. So I made this for a class last semester, and it was basically, we had to choose a word and like a medium, so it could have been sound or like physical objects or anything like that, and make a representation of the word that has some kind of interesting connection with the word. So I chose color, and then I used like the blending modes to make it so that the colors added up to be an absence of color or white. And then also if you go in the other color modes, so there's RGB and CMYK, and so the other color mode, adding colors together makes black. So I then did the reverse for here. And I didn't use the primary colors because like I didn't use them exactly because I thought this would be more interesting, so I actually kind of cheated a little bit, and you can't really tell. You can tell like right there it's not exactly white, and then right there it is. So because when you blend these colors that aren't exactly the primary colors, then it's not exactly white. So, but anyways, we don't have to worry about any of that for this because we're not trying to do something with color. Yeah. Yeah, my name is Megan. That's why I'm animating that because I thought it'd be useful for other projects. And then this color animation that I'm showing in QuickTime right now, yeah, I made this last semester. So, and no problem about the questions. Like, keep them coming. Sorry if I'm slow to answer. All right, so I'm gonna try to do this with the G, and I'm just playing this over and over to try to remember what I did. So these little like kind of like loop outlines. They were just outlines around the shape, and that's what I don't think that's what I was going for, but it was kind of like a happy accident that happened, so let's see if we can do that again. Alright, so, alright. Yeah, I don't really know how my strokes are hollow. But I'm going to try to figure that out again. So I'm going to just duplicate this, so if I screw it up, I'll have an extra. And it's not going to be under path. Maybe I need to add a stroke, so if I go to add, stroke, stroke color is white, that's not helpful. Just pick something. Okay, now I can't see my G very well. Oh, hide that one. This has a black fill. I don't want it to right now because then I can't see what I'm doing. Okay, so now I have an outline. Okay, I'm gonna save this and go to my original file and see what I was doing to get that cool stroke. I'm just gonna save that as my name. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, so oh, here's my outline. Okay, so I have 3 different outlines with 3 different colors, and then oh, offset path. This is kind of coming back to me. Yeah, I have a lot of layers here. And like half of them are like not even visible, so I don't know what I was doing. Okay, so offset pass. How do you get offset pass? Here we go. Okay, so amount is 3, amount is 4. Okay, I think I can figure this out now. So I'm gonna go back to Alright, so that gave me 1. And then this was on round join. Oh, you know what I probably did? Nope. Never mind. My mouse is loud. I'm using a magic mouse, but okay, well, sorry I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna go back and look at this again. one offset pass, and I have This is what I do sometimes is I take a picture with my phone of like my layers and this information, and then I go back. Oops, that's the same thing. And then I'm going to try to make this look like this. Okay. Alright, well, I'm not really sure what I did to get those. It seems like I need another offset path, but I don't think I had that in my other project. So alright, never mind. I'll figure that out later and come back to it. So, I'll also add trim paths to this. So here, let's see, where do I want this to start? Maybe we'll start it from, so I'll adjust the offset, so we'll start from like the top of the G right here, and then okay, so I'm going to set a keyframe for end and offset, probably not there, probably at like 0. And then I'll go ahead a little bit and I'm going to adjust my end value. Oh right, before I had multiple different strokes like coming in, so I'll do that again. And then I want this to be moving a little bit more than it is. So I'm going to adjust the offset so it's kind of like going like that. Yeah, so that'll be good. And then I will duplicate this, and then I'll just delete these and then like delete those keyframes, and then I'm gonna make a new stroke and I'll change the color. Let's go with, these colors are so horrible. I'm gonna change them later, but just as long as they're different right now, that'll be good enough. So this one ends about there. I want this one, well, I want kind of my whole letter to be filled with a stroke. So I'm going to drag this the other way So it'll be, maybe like I'll have a little gap. So I'll set a keyframe for my offset to be there. And then I'm also going to have this be 0, set a keyframe, and then go the same, well, let's go to 20. Okay, and then I'm going to animate this line in, and I'm going to change the offset so that my paths aren't overlapping. So let's see how that looks. Alright, not bad. That red A was being annoying. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this again. Hit U, and then I'll delete those keyframes. And then I'm just gonna, the reason I'm not going back to 0 and just like starting here is so I can see my other path so that I know where I want to line this one up. So I'm gonna line it up about there, change the color so I can see something really hideous. Alright, offset, and we'll bring this to 0. And set a keyframe. And then I'm gonna put these at 0 and then go to 20 frames. Oops, where were they? Oh. Would hope if I animated this one first so that I can see something. Probably trying to be around like 30, 29, 43, 35. That's good. Alright, so then we'll move the offset so that nothing is overlapping. And I'm going to bring this one down because I think I was adding up to over 100%, and that's not going to work. Alright, so now these will kind of like follow each other around and animate in a G. And it would look better if I could figure out how to do those cool strokes that I did before. But I'm going to be doing other videos for the other letters, and I'll just figure it out when I'm not streaming so that it's not extremely boring, because I'm sure I'm already boring you guys enough. So yeah, and then I'll tell you how to do that in the next video. I'll try to keep the same schedule. Mondays at like 1. So alright. So now I'll be done with working with those for a little while, and I'm going to take my G, so this is just a solid G, and I'm going to duplicate that. I should be naming my layers, but I didn't, so oh well. And then what I'm going to do is move different shapes in and mask them with the G. So this is going to be a mask. So I'm going to name this G mask. And then I'm going to just create some circles. So I don't want to stroke, I want to fill. And another cool feature of this Motion script, I have Motion 2 and Motion, just the first version, because when I bought Motion for like 25 bucks or something, when they came out with Motion 2, you got a free upgrade. So that's why I have 2, and I keep 2 of them because Motion 1 has this really nice anchor point thing. So if I wanted my anchor point to be in the center, I just moved it to the center. And if you already have like your animation on the different shape layers, then you can use this and it won't move your object, which is really nice, because if you went in and just like tried to move the anchor point and you'd already animated this, like animated the position or something, then it's gonna screw up your whole animation. So this is super, super handy. Like you could put it up in the top corner or over here or in the middle. So, yeah, it's not really important that it's in the middle for this, but I'm just gonna do it because it's a habit. And it kind of makes things more organized. So what I'll do, I'm going to move this G mask on top of my shape layer 1, and then I'm going to go into the track map, which is right here, and on shape layer 1, so I'm going to go track map and then alpha map. So that's the first option, alpha map G mask. So then when I move, hit P to bring up the position. So I'm going to set a position key right there, we'll say, and then I'll go over to 1 second, and then I'll move this in, and you can see that it's being masked by the G, which is nice. So yeah. So then I'm going to duplicate both of these layers, and then I'll just change the color of this. And then I'll change the position. So this position, the final position, can stay the same. And then I'll just change this one to like come in from up here. Okay. And then I'm going to do that a third time so that I have 3 circles coming in. So I'll move the beginning position of this to like over here. Whoops, I was off. Okay. So then that will come in. I'm going to change the color. Do I go into the graph editor? I sometimes do. I usually just use this motion script. So by clicking, here, let me show you. So like say I just had this shape layer over here, and then I make it move, and then I like make it move like that. So I could just highlight my keyframes and hit this in the motion script, and that basically does an easy ease for you. So it just made my graph editor like that, and that's usually just what I do. You could edit this if you wanted, but yeah. So okay, so it's a start. It doesn't look super great, mostly because of the horrible colors that I chose, but I'll go like to Adobe Cooler. That's what I usually do, or color, however you say that, and I'll pick some better colors so that everything matches, and then I'll do more streams to do the rest of the letters. So yeah, basically that's all I was planning on doing today, because I've got a bunch of other stuff to work on. But yeah, so hopefully next Monday at 1 I'll work on some more letters, and if you guys have any questions on these or on the other ones, ask me. And also I'm going to try to figure out how to get those cool strokes, because that would look way better than what I have now. So thanks for watching.